This is a general guide for noobs by Taffy 3. Chapter 1 is about the laning phase. First thing we're going to talk about in the laning phase is last hitting in CS. Last hitting is the strategy to get the most CS. This clip here shows me last hitting. CS stands for minions killed. Generally, you want to get 150 by the 20-minute mark. As I missed my first minion, you're going to see here as I hit the second one, 22 gold pops over his head, showing me I did. Last hitting generally gets your tower pushed, which is what I prefer because it keeps you close to the tower, harder to gank, and it's easier for your jungler to gank the opponent. You want to keep it off your tower though. And as you see here, Lee Sin's about to gank Fid. And even though this doesn't get a kill, the damage on him gives me more lane control. Last hitting is so important because generally the team with the most money wins the team fights. And last hitting is one of the easiest ways to get the most money. Experience is the bar that fills underneath your champion picture under the bottom left. As you see, my cursor is on a minion, and as a minion dies I don't gain any experience. And here I'm in experience range, and as the minion dies I gain experience and level up. This clip is to show ganking. As you can see, Caitlyn's called MIA in chat. Fid had been in my lane. I thought Caitlyn and Fid had switched. I made two mistakes here. I did not call Fid MIA. And I just assumed Fid switched without checking the minimap. The minimap is positioned at the bottom right of the screen. You should keep checking it regularly to see if any enemy is MIA. Caitlyn's going to make a mistake in this gank and advance too aggressively. When you're low, don't advance too aggressively. Keep your distance. As you can see, Fiddle jumps out of the bush and fears me. He's draining, but Caitlyn advances too far past Fid. I flash and kill Caitlyn. Know when to back down. I made this section because I've seen a lot of new players stay in lane when they really shouldn't have, or keep coming when they really shouldn't have. Here you see I turn level 6 and I immediately start attacking Vayne in Cougar form. I bring her down to half health and then start backing away, but she keeps coming closer, so I attack her again, get her down to a third, and she keeps coming, and I flash and kill her. Know when you're beat, she should have backed and healed herself up with health pots, or just back completely and heal herself up at fountain. Zoning out is a strategy when you have complete lane dominance. You zone out your opponent from experience range, as I show in this clip. This is usually good in a 2v2 lane. One guy zones out while the other one last hits. This keeps your opponent weaker and eventually gives you a level advantage. As you see, I'm constantly forcing Tristana away, but can't get the kill because of our escapability. But she's unable to last hit and keeps missing experience. Another problem I see noobs having is knowing when the laning phase is over. And while this is a really hard skill to learn because there's a lot of ways it can end and it's more of a feeling than any real thing, this is one of the clearest ways to see. As you can see, I just forced Orianna out of her lane, and this is also to show you how fast it can turn. Because this was the laning phase, I'm going to bring down this tower here. A tower going down generally is going to signal the end of the laning phase, because usually the people who bring down the tower are fed, and they start ganking as soon as the tower is down, and this will generally get them kills, so it's better for your team to group up after this point. Also, when I got Orianna to back, I pushed the lane. You generally want to do this when there's no one in your lane. The only exception to this rule is if you're losing the lane badly, then pushing the lane can sometimes get you killed when they get back in the lane and you're farther away from your turret. As you can see, I pushed the lane past the turret. You don't want to push it further than that. And I immediately start ganking. As you can see, I'm a couple levels over both of my opponents because I'm fed. And I've had mid lane. I get a kill on TF. And then help assist Udyr on Caitlyn. Right off the bat, I just got a double kill off bot lane. And as the rest of the enemy team shows up, I throw a spear into the bush. And as my team groups up, we get into a fight. Talon will bring down Orianna, and the rest of us will bring down Nasus right there. Singe will get away, but in 2.5 minutes, we went from laning phase to tower being down to our team getting a quad on the enemy, and the laning phase being over. Chapter 3 is about champion types and roles. First up is tanks. As shown in this clip, tanks generally initiate team fights, soak up as much damage as possible, and try to keep their carries alive. As you can see here, Alistar initiates, and then pushes MF back so I can get the kill. In the next clip, we show tank's life-saving capabilities as Alistar clutchily pushes away MF, saving me. As you see, the Ignite taking away my health. Any shot she would have done would have killed me, and also him healing me at the last second as Ignite's killing me. Off tanks do a lot of the same roles as tanks, but can't soak up as much damage, but output more damage. As you can see here, I cover Xin Zhao's retreat, and it's starting initiation on the enemy tank. I failed to land my pop-up here, but still soak up a lot of damage as my enemy brings down 2 champs. And as you can see, I'm dishing out significant damage as well. Bruisers or fighters have as much damage soaking capabilities as off tanks, but lack the CC to help save carries and initiate team fights. They make up for this by having carry-esque damage. As you can see here, I'm soaking up huge amounts of damage and outputting a lot as well. And I get a double kill here. AP carries unleash the most burst damage of all champs. Their job is to kill the scariest rival carry as quickly as possible in team fights, and generally stay in the back until they can unleash the barrage, as seen here on the enemy Vigor. Me playing AP Gragas and my Vigor take them down quickly. AD carries output the most sustained damage and are susceptible to early bursts as they are as weak as AP carries, but do more damage over time as shown by the Corki. They also stay further in the back and let the tanks soak up damage. Supports, like tanks, keep carries alive, but unlike tanks can initiate and are squishy. As you can see here, I'm supporting Corki getting kills with my shield / attack damage helper and keeping it alive with my heal. I made chapter 4 to show off jungling, as I've seen most noobs don't understand it. This is also to show off health pots, sight wards, and the buffs. I would not attempt to jungle until level 20, as you need runes and masteries to do it. And I would choose one of the easier champs like Warwick. This is to show blue buff off first. Blue buff should generally go to carries as it gives cooldown reduction and mana regen, but junglers get it originally. During your second route, you usually give it away. Your second time getting blue buff. As you can see here, I'm getting blue buff. I'm also going to show off smite as it's key to jungling. As you can see, my mouse is on it right now. You generally want to last hit the monsters so you can't get counter jungled and someone steal your buff out from under you with smite, as you see I'm about to do on blue buff. I'm going to name off the camps as I fast forward through this. I'm hitting wolves now. These are considered the smalls when I'm going to hit the next three. This is what a lot of junglers do and then come back and get the buffs and the smalls again. Here are the wraiths, as I'm getting now. When you're doing the smalls only, you ignite the blue white wraith. I'm going to pass red, I'll come back to it, and get double golems. Okay, red usually goes to your AD carry because it gives true damage and slow. As you can see here, I make multiple mistakes. Not clicking on the health pot fast enough and missing last hitting with ignite. This should not be used as a guide as I screw up multiple times on this jungle route. This is to show how tough it is and the buffs. As you can see, I'm double buffed. When you back, you should check tab. Tab is very important to see what the enemy has bought. See how well you're doing in CS. As you can see here, I'm picking up a sight ward. Sight wards should generally be picked up in the laning phase by your tanks, your support, and your junglers. Even if the rest of your team isn't getting them, you should at least get one or two for Baron and Dragon. My mouse right now is on the mini map. As I've stated beforehand, this is really important to keep checking to show how many MIAs there are. I'm going to repeat doing the smalls and then start a gank. I'm going to first ward Dragon. After you kill Dragon, which gives Team Gold and experience, it respawns 6 minutes later. Baron at 7 minutes, it gives the team buff, experience, and gold. Wards run out 3 minutes after you put them down. It's good to time your wards on Dragon and Baron, as you time Dragon and Baron as well. As you see, this is a failed gank. Would have been considered a success in a real game because I forced Master Yi to back, but still not the best gank. And that's generally jungling. During my jungling route, I was using active items. I was using the push system to activate them, but the other way of doing it is in their slots. One, you press the one button for that. Youmuu's has a unique active. Items can also do that. That's the 2 slot. You press 2 to activate that one. There's the 3 slot, the 4 slot, the 5 slot, and the 6 slot. I suggest you look up all the active items in the Learning Center on the LL page. This clip is to show off team fights. As you can see, I'm tanking the turret as Tank Teemo while the enemy is away. This would have been a good initiation by Malphite, except that his team wasn't there to back him up, so it's a waste of a move by him. As you can see, my team gets a little split up, which is bad. But as we group to cover Fid, the rest of the team groups up with me. Aurelia gets split up in her attempt to attack Fid. And even though this initiation right here is going to be bad because we attack Malphite on the initiation, the rest of the team isn't there to make us pay for targeting the tankiest character. As we melt him, the enemy team runs away but leaves Mord, who didn't realize his team was backing up and just stayed with the fight. This is just to show off how grouping together and targeting as a team will win your team fights as we push on and get the tower and the inhib. I hope this guide helped. If you have more questions about jungling, I suggest you go on a new player forum and ask the Ask Tegan thread. Good luck and have fun playing League of Legends.